Hi, today we're going to walk through how to use Padlet with your students or your colleagues. So a Padlet is essentially just a wall where you can include information. And so this information might be websites, articles, videos that you have curated that you want to find a place for. You could use a Padlet to foster class discussions. You can use it to just have book recommendations or like mini book talks. You could also use it as a way to use it as an exit ticket for students to be able to show, like, this is how I solved a problem, or these are my goals and needs for the day. And so when we're looking at this text set that I had created for refugees, you can see this is called a wall text set, and it's just all of my information has been posted on here. And so then you just scroll through and it just gives all of these pieces in one spot. You can write more about it at the top, where you can include some more information, but you don't need to. And then this one here would be a curated list, and this is called a shelf style. And so then when we're looking at the shelf style, if I'm looking at the agriculture column, I can see as I scroll through, all of these are just ag related, and then nothing else is moving. So as we're doing that, that's something to think about too, is how can you silo if that is a preference for you. So when we go into our Padlet dashboard, so first you're going to have to create your account. And then once we've created our accounts, we are brought into your dashboard. And so you can make 3 Padlets, I believe, for free. I don't know if that is shaken up a little bit right now during our shelter in places or not. But you can always purchase more if this is something that you are interested in. You can also just delete the ones that you don't need any longer. So if you're using it as an exit ticket, you could just delete that one and then recreate if you wanted to. So the first thing that we want to do is click on Make a Padlet. And then from here, we want to choose, what does our Padlet look like? So again, that refugee text set that I started with was our wall format. And then the shelf format was the one that had all of the different content areas. So you could also do a canvas, a stream, where it looks similar to like a Facebook wall, or where it's just all in a virtual line. You can arrange your stuff in grids. You could use a map or a timeline, or create like a back channel communication. So students could be using that back channel. That's something like, if you are familiar with Today's Meet, that no longer, I don't think that exists anymore. But if you were using something like that in the background of what your lesson might be, that students could ask questions. And during this virtual time of learning too, this might not be a bad idea if you videoed your lessons and then had students like commenting through on a back channel using a Padlet. So I'm just going to click on the wall piece of it and click on select. And so once you have selected it, it is going to bring this up. And then I'm going to move this. So on the right-hand side, then you are going to be able to retitle this. And you can change your description to whatever you want. If you want to include an icon, there's all of the different emojis that you can pick. And then this is going to be your address, so you can copy in and just post that wherever you need to, whether it's an email or putting it on your Google Classroom walls. And then the wallpaper is that background color. So you can choose solid colors, you can choose gradients, textures, and patterns. I'm going to choose that cork board for now. And you could also add your own pictures, but it also has some already done for you. And so once you have that, then you can, if you want to switch up your color scheme, you can choose that. I'm going to choose a different font just because. So those are your 4 options. And then when we hit the posting piece of it down in the middle of this modification section, you can see the attribution. So do you want the author name above each post? So what this is going to be is if you have students or colleagues posting, do you want their name to be posted with who did that? So it's totally up to you. And then new post position. Do you want new posts to appear first? So at the top of your screen or last down at the bottom of your screen. Again, that's your personal preference. And then you can enable comments or not. So you can choose to let students or colleagues interact with whatever is posted, or you can choose not to do that, depending on what your purpose is. And so then the reactions, you can choose to like, vote, star, grade posts here. And then you can also require a moderation and to filter profanity. So if you want to moderate what's being posted, then all of the posts are going to come to you first, and you need to approve them to be posted or not. I'm going to leave those off for now. And then I'm going to go back up to the top of my modification. And in the top right, there is the next button. And I'm going to click on next. And so then we can see it's going to say, hey, we're all set. I want to start posting. At this point in time, I just see a blank canvas. And so when we're looking down at the right, you can see that there's a plus sign. And so when you do that, you can double click anywhere. You can just drag files in, you can paste from a clipboard, or you can click here to post. So if I just double click on here, I can see my first post is going to appear. And once I do that, here's where I can write. So I might just be able to say, I'm a little tired this morning and in need of coffee. Okay, so from there, I can then include more things. I could leave it like that where I'm just typing, or I can upload. So if I have something from my desktop, I can choose that. So you can pick. You can link it in. So you can grab your link off of a Google Doc or a website, videos, anything like that, and copy and paste that in. You can do a quick Google search. And actually, I guess I don't know if it's a Google search. It's a search. So if I wanted to just search for coffee, and then click on the arrow. So these are all things that you are able to use. So audio, GIFs, websites. I'm just going to grab this one for the sake of it, and post. So if I wanted to do it another way, I could also just click on that plus sign, and then another post would appear. And so we had done the search. You can grab a video of yourself. So that's your camera booth. We don't need to do that right now. And then there's even more. So these are all of the different pieces. So you can draw right on here. You can just record your voice or capture your own video, take photos from your camera. Here's our Google search. All of these are different pieces. And so as you just keep adding to it, you'll see mine is that. So that newest post come first. So that's why you see everything shifting to the right. And so if I had it flipped, then it would be just the opposite way for that. And then up at the top, you can choose, up in the top right, you can choose to remake this. So if you wanted to use the same thing for multiple classes, you could do that, and you could just retitle it, and then you just copy the design in all of the pieces. You can also copy authorship, people, privacy. If you want to share it out, here's all of the different ways that you can share this out. So you could also use this as just as a way to capture student learning and save it as an image. You could download it as an Excel file, or you could share it out on social media. There is an actual Google Classroom link too, if you would prefer to do that. If you click on the settings button, so that gear, it's going to bring you back up to those modifications where you're able to choose to change anything. And then you have the 3 dots. And so those 3 dots are going to bring you back to your help, entering full screen. Do you want to share it, export it, print it, modify, changing formats? And so if we want to invite people, you just have to put in their names and save it. Otherwise, you can choose. So here's your privacy right here. And so right now I have mine set at visitors can write on the board. So anybody who visits this Padlet right now could add different posts to it. If I click on that privacy, I can keep it private, I can password protect it, or I can make it go completely public where anybody could find. And then here is where I can switch this up. So visitors could read it, they can write, and then these people can edit other people's posts. So those are just some of those options for you and how to use Padlet in your classroom.